I'm not yet. I was just making sure everything was running.
Okay.
But I can play music for you now if you want. Are you ready for
Let's
that? All right.
let's go.
Bants and Bants. Bants and Bants.
All systems go.
Bants and Bants.
Defiance.
Bants and Bants.
This rebel has a cause.
Bombs and Bants.
We begin as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Welcome to the 31st live edition of Bombs and Bants and Wednesday Rants. As always, I'm your dedicated and humble host, John Wilder, coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden deep beneath the surface of the earth. With me, as always, is Mark.
Yeah, Sally, I'm here.
And the missus.
That show open gets longer every time you do it.
Soon it might encompass the entire history of mankind.
It's
So,
possible.
yes,
It's possible.
it's possible. Yes. How's the week been, everybody? Mark, how are you doing, buddy?
Oh, good. I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, doing quite well. Doing quite well. It was relatively relaxing this weekend. And the missus did manage to not catch Ebola again, so
Holding the scurvy at bay.
holding the scurvy at bay.
And yet, for
And,
some reason, my voice has not come back, and I have not yet to figure out why that is. I'm still raspy.
yeah, and I am going onto our website. I'm still not seeing our video up being live, so I don't know that I have a good answer for that. So if you're out there, hmm, well, if you're out there listening, I'm not sure how you found us, but welcome. I think we've got another.
Everything I have says we are alive.
Okay, looks like we got another great show coming for you tonight. I know I am thrilled. Um, of course, we should probably start with the obvious. Of course, Ukraine, and I want to bring out the comment that you made tonight, the missus. Um, which I thought was quite funny, was I was listening. Why don't you tell me about what you heard on the radio about the duration of the conflict?
Oh, well, I was listening to the radio, and the announcer that was doing the network news says, as the Russian Ukrainian war drags on, and I'm like, it's been a month.
Yeah, how long did World War One last? Something tells me a little bit more than a
A little
month.
more than a month, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's like the last season of Game of Thrones. People just want it to be over, but they don't get that shot. Any thoughts on the war from your world, Mark?
Um, just what I've been seeing is it looks like it's sort of reaching a stalemate. At least the Russians aren't having a lot of success with movement, and I don't know if that means that they've given up on movement or they're just incapable of further advances at this point.
Well, there's, of course, the third option in that, they've surrounded population centers, and rather than, kill everyone inside, they're just, oh, we'll camp out here and we'll wait for the population centers to crack. I mean, that's another strategy that one could use, because you remember how well it worked when a certain Austrian tried to move into Stalingrad. It didn't go so well. Let's go with cut six, the missus.
Okay, let me find that. Mm. See, I was doing other stuff, and now I'm distracted. Okay, well, so this is Glenn Greenwald, and the article originally was on his Substack, since he was fired from his own media company that he founded, and this was a link to his live stream that was in his Substack. And I have to say this: I like Glenn Greenwald. I like the way he writes. He's a much better writer than he is a speaker. But here he is. The name of the article that he was talking about is called War Propaganda About Ukraine Becoming More Militaristic, Authoritarian. I know, it's easy for me to say. And reckless. And what he's talking about here is how, when we're talking about emotional things, we see emotional stories, that can cloud our rational thought processes. So here he is.
It's just that we ought to be aware of what the reaction is when our brains are flooded with high emotions, when our emotions are part of a collective reaction, and therefore even more intense, given that we're social and political animals and we're tribal and we feed on one another's emotions. And so the more we all feel intense emotions, collectively the emotions intensify. It's important to realize what that means for our reasoning ability. Emotions intensify. It's important to realize what that means.
Where is that coming
for
from?
Our reason.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, it could be you. I was like,
So,
how did I get an echo in here? Where is that coming from?
So yeah, and I think that this war is definitely being played up by emotions, for emotions. And so here's a couple of examples that I've noticed. And Mark, if you got some chime in, there have been an incredible number of Ukraine lies during this month-long war. The most recent one is cannibal Russian soldiers. I mean, Russian soldiers gone cannibal. I mean, it sounds like maybe a good movie, but it's
I hadn't
not
even
really.
heard of that one.
Yeah. Then the ghost of Ukraine, who there's no foundation for believing that person ever existed, that Ukraine is winning, that they've kicked Russian soldiers back, that Russians
there was just today, and actually it's in tomorrow's Wall Street Journal, it's their lead op-ed on the editorial page, is that if we gave the Ukraine more help, they could win this.
Yeah, that Russians intentionally attacked a maternity hospital because, Russians most... Yeah, I mean, this is the oldest trope in the book. I mean, you go back to World War I propaganda. What does it show? Hey, Hogan, it is a Hun killing babies. And the Russians didn't intentionally attack a maternity hospital. And then they attacked a theater where children were. But yet, how many casualties from that theater where the children were? Oh, wait, one injured. So, the Ukraine lies are unbelievable. And then the next day shows up and you're supposed to forget that those lies occurred. It's just like that, that young Kuwaiti woman who testified in front of Congress that the Iraqi soldiers came in and threw babies out of incubators. Well, it turned out that young Kuwaiti lady was the 15-year-old daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States, testifying before Congress to something she hadn't been around for 1,000 miles. So, I mean, the Ukrainian lies are a lot like the Kuwaiti lies. And, and now we even have war crimes. The maternity hospital attack is a war crime because it injured a child. Of course, now the Russian lies are much more believable. And here's the biggest Russian lie I've heard of the war so far. The Russian commanders care about their troops. So that's big. That was a long setup for that. I hope everyone enjoyed it. But
and here I was not paying attention. See, this is a problem. Where did that even go?
Okay, sure.
Hang on. Ah! No, okay, so here's the problem. I had to move one of my windows. This is why I need two monitors, so that I don't take forever to do this. There you go. Talk about a long time for a payoff, huh?
There you go.
I need two monitors.
So now, interestingly enough, and I'm just going to note this, I do know that we are streaming live. I have picked it out from the phone, but you know what? When I go to YouTube, it doesn't show that we're streaming at all. I wonder if we're being suppressed.
It's finally
so,
happened. We finally made the big time.
The man is bringing us down.
It is.
So is any other thoughts about Ukraine before we move? I mean, I know we'll have to move back to it, but because it'll just show back up in our conversation. But any more thoughts on that before we move off the message?
Not really. I mean, I would just dogpile on about the lies because, I mean, we've seen the same thing coming out, like the Palestinians. on when I've been blogging about it. I mean, I frequently refer to the Palestinians because they're notorious for making use of footage from, other conflicts or, years before and so forth. And they're notorious for hiding their military assets in hospitals and schools and so forth. And we're just sort of seeing the same thing in Ukraine.
And I think that's absolutely true. And there you have it there.
Well,
So
and
with
it's really
that-
impossible
oh,
to make
go
any sort of decision on how you're supposed, what you should be thinking, or even rationalizing, going back to what Glenn Greenwald said, or feeling emotionally when you don't know, what's bacon sandwiches, BS, and what isn't.
Right. Yes. And, I thought for a second you were going to say Glenn Greenback, which would have been funny.
Well, can I just say that I didn't think his voice sounded like what I thought it would sound like?
It doesn't, especially not from the pictures. I don't know what I expected. But I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So, yep, it's awful. It's emotional. It's incredibly manipulative, and yeah, yep, I couldn't agree more. So let's go to our lies. How about we go to some of our lies?
Oh,
Let's
good.
go with cut number 1.
Hang on. Gotta get the pictures up there. And okay, see, here's the problem with you not putting these in order, is that I put
The
them
governor
in
and
order.
I, and we were.
Oh, wait. That's not the picture. That's the sound. There we go. A flattering picture of our vice president up there. Yeah, well, okay. So, we do have the braying jackass of the week. And I had to pick someone else this week besides Kamala because she wins. It's not fair how frequently she wins. She's like the Leah Thomas of braying jackasses.
That's exactly right.
She's 40 seconds ahead of everybody else.
She's the transvestite. I'm sorry, transsexual. Got to keep my transes straight.
I'm not. It's something like that.
I guess it's the transitive property.
Yep. Anyway, she's the one with the pickle in the pool when it comes to politicians and the stupid things that they say. So I couldn't give her the award 2 weeks in a row, but she should have gotten it for this gym. This
Yeah, it's
doozy.
supposed to be. It's supposed to be a traveling trophy. So
Yes.
let's go.
Yes, this one right here.
The governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Now, in case you missed it, her emphasis there was on the significance of the passage of time.
And the significance of the passage of time in this case was that she had to fill 30 minutes, and she had 3 minutes of material and 2 minutes of brain cells. Oh, she's awful. She's awful. Literally the stupidest person in the room. I don't know how she got. Oh, yeah, we all know how.
Yeah,
she
we
got that
know.
word.
We know.
We all know. That's what's gotten us shadow banned on YouTube.
Oh no, I think the next one's what got a shadow ban on YouTube. That's cut number 2. CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. Is this an actual woman, or is this? Oh, okay.
This is an
Finally
actual woman,
acknowledges that there might be such a thing as natural immunity.
Yes, and this is her talking to the Bipartisan Policy Center interview, and this was actually on St. Patrick's Day, 2022. Just to put that into, whatever for you. Here she is.
Yep.
Just about a month ago, we had a study out of California and New York that demonstrated if you've previously had disease, that you actually have quite a bit of protection, perhaps even more so than those who had been vaccinated and not yet boosted. Here's the challenge, though. That study out of California and New York was before Omicron, and it was also before widespread boosting. So it's not entirely clear how that protection works in the context of Omicron and boosting.
And so she went on to add on top of that, she said if you've had COVID a year ago, maybe like 13% protection. If you had it, well, I think she said 4 or 5 months ago, 40% protection. But she said if you've had Omicron, so you know the Omicron 2, the electric boogaloo is out too right now, right? Well, they're calling it BA2 or whatever it is. If you had Omicron, you're 90% protected against that. Things that people have been saying and getting banned on, kicked off of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube for the last 2 years. Yes, YouTube.
So we're
now
repeating.
The CDC is finally admitting. Oh, and another thing that she admitted in this other interview that I did not pull as well is her admitting that most of the people who have died from COVID have had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 comorbidities. So they were very sick in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Yep.
Things that I've been saying for the past few years. Okay.
So speaking of lies, and speaking of war crimes, I tried to bring up the video clip, but I realized that was going to be really way too complicated.
Is this going to be about McDonald's?
This is about Madeleine Albright.
Oh.
Madeleine Albright, whose life is at least partially, or whose name is at least partially alive.
I was going to say it's more than partially over now.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sure. I'll skip it. We have heard that 1 million. This is Leslie Stahl. We have heard 500,000 Iraqi children have died. I mean, that is more children than died in Hiroshima, which is Leslie Stahl. No thought was ever died of having too many thoughts in her brain. Leslie Stahl said that. And then she asked, is the price worth it to Madeleine Albright? I think it is a very hard choice, Albright answered. But the price, we think, the price is worth it. Yes, indeed. 500,000 Iraqi children. The price, the price is worth it. And again, we're talking about, let's say the Russians did attack that maternity hospital on purpose, and we had 12 dead. That's a war crime. Madeleine Albright, with sanctions to kill off 500,000 Iraqi children, not a war crime? I'm getting this banned, aren't I?
Yeah, you totally are.
All right. Well,
get kicked right off of YouTube.
Okay. Well, let's wait till we get to the next one. Hillary Clinton is positive for COVID.
Yay.
And COVID issued a statement, I did not commit suicide. So, come on, let's face it. Hillary Clinton calls the suicide hotline to place orders.
Wait,
right.
I'm on it.
All right. So, yeah, Hillary Clinton has the Rona.
But then as COVID lay bleeding out on the floor, Hillary was heard to be saying this.
That's very good. That almost sounds like the Ming the Merciless laugh.
It might be.
So we've got that going on. Hillary Clinton is just too mean to die from COVID. I'll say that much. What else is going on off in our world? Any particular stories of interest in your world, Mark? Anything that jump out this week?
Oh, up here in Idaho?
Or no, anywhere.
Anywhere. Oh, shoot. Well, I have to say, let's see. There was a report the other day that NASA's now counted up all the exoplanets that have been discovered, and they exceed 5,000. So I think we can put to rest the idea that our solar system is unique.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, is that grand total just in our solar system?
No, that's in all the solar systems that they found. They've observed signs indicating exoplanets. Okay. So, and the James Webb Telescope is coming online slowly, which is exciting. And who knows, maybe with it, we might actually even be able to resolve an exoplanet. I don't know if it has high enough resolution, but still.
Good. Well, actually, I believe that one of the things about the James Webb telescope is it's going to be able to see into the infrared. And so it's going to be able to, that's naturally blocked by the atmosphere. So it's going to be able to see things that have literally never been seen by any telescope. And of course, its mirror is just huge.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, and
probably
you're right.
one of the biggest.
The infrared will allow us to see a lot more of the dust that's in the interstellar medium, and hopefully we'll finally see this whole shroud of dark matter go away.
Yeah.
And, and as you were talking about the size of the mirror on the telescope, it made me feel like I had to channel my inner Madeline Kahn and go, not Madeline Kahn, Terry Garr, and go, the telescope, it must have an enormous Schwanztegruben. Yes, it'll be very popular.
Oh, so and an activist has published, we're on sciencey, spacey things. An activist published a redacted version of a classified military UFO report. It was nothing but all black. Everything was blacked out now. The Department of Defense is interested in them, and it's kind of fascinating. They're talking about the most common shapes spotted by the military. So the military is even trying to classify these things. Again, I wonder if they're just Clinton victims. But speaking of Clinton victims, 570,000 chickens to be destroyed in Nebraska. Fight against bird flu, and I said, I wonder what they know about.
What did they know about Hillary Clinton?
So there's that. Oh, and Codex notes that it's very nice to have the missus back, and also notes that remember though, the best thing about being an NPC stooge is never having to say you're sorry. That's absolutely the case. All right. Moving along. Oh, of course.
Did you just stub your toe or something?
No. Why?
Oh! Wasn't that you that did that?
Oh, no. You're just hearing things again.
Oh, okay.
And we do have a new Supreme Court nominee. I'll let you say her name.
Oh, I would have to have that written in front of me. And I do. And what's her name? Hang on, let me find
Kevin.
it.
Kevin.
Ketanji.
Kevin.
I'm going with it's got to be. I'm sorry, I can't. And I can't keep her two last names straight either because I keep going to call her Jackson Brown, but it's not. It's Brown Jackson.
Yeah, and you'd have an excuse to do that if you were running on empty. Running on.
Oh, wait. I'm getting faster.
So we do have a Supreme Court nominee, and actually Pugsley the other day asked me what's the difference between Supreme Court and regular court, and I told you, well, Supreme Court's just regular court with sour cream and tomato.
That's what I was going to say, sour cream and tomatoes.
Yep. So anyway, we do have cuts from the nomination hearing, and let's go with cut 5 first.
Okay. Not the one that you told me that we're going through with first.
I know, because the cut 3 is funnier though. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. It really is. Well, and the Republicans, who after our last two, I mean, they were at least kind of marginally, grudgingly respectful to Amy Coney Barrett. I can't say her name either, so the new Supreme Court justice is just going to have to deal with this. Can't say her name. Coney Island Barrett. Amy Coney Island Barrett. Yes.
And
they were grudgingly respectful to her and Brett Dijaboof Kavanaugh. After that fiasco, I mean, they could have taken this poor woman out and, I don't know, ran her underpants up the flagpole or something. And it would have been more respectful than what they did to Kavanaugh. But nonetheless, the Republicans, no matter what they ask her, they're going to be in hot water over it, right? Well, Lindsey Graham had the audacity today to ask her about her religious faith. And I thought he was pretty respectful. You be the judge of that. Here's the clip.
How important is your faith to you?
Senator, personally, my faith is very important. But as you know, there's no religious test in the Constitution under Article 6, and
There will be none with me.
um, it's very important to set aside one's personal views
Yeah,
about things in the role of a judge.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I believe you can. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how faithful would you say you are in terms of religion? You know, I go to church probably 3 times a year, so that speaks poorly of me. Or do you attend church regularly?
Well, Senator, I am reluctant to talk about my faith in this way just because I want to be mindful of the need for the public to have confidence in my ability to separate out my personal views.
And I do not wish to talk about when we serve up the children to Gorto and Moloch.
I've never heard a longer way of saying, to the question, how often you go to church, 0.
Church?
So,
See, I don't know. I've heard that she is fairly
is she
religious.
Christian?
I've heard that she is
she
fairly
really
religious.
religious?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, but which religion?
Yeah, well, Gorto.
Gorto and Moloch.
Well, yeah.
And Codex Nuts can't
She ain't
pass the
saying
witch
apparently.
test.
She ain't saying apparently.
If she floats, then she's lighter than wood.
I was gonna say, does she weigh more than a duck?
Yeah, she weighs more than a duck. She's made of wood, and thus a witch. Who are you, man, who is so wise in the ways of science? Oh, I guess it was a fair test. So Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee asks Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown to define a woman. A woman.
Oh wait, I have something for this too.
Yes, you do.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the
biologist.
meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide.
Well,
so I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
Oh, shuck it, duck it now.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry about that on your cue sheet. I gave you the wrong out cue on that. I forgot to change it.
And that's
Though I
absolutely
think
fine.
I think Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown does have the easiest potential path to New Orleans.
Yes, yes, she does.
Man, if she's so stupid that she doesn't even know what a woman is, being one supposedly, she has no right to be on the Supreme Court. I'm sorry, that should automatically disqualify you. That's the vocabulary equivalent of eating Tide Pods.
And Codex notes, I am not a biologist, so I can't tell you what that waterfall going back quack and waddling about is. And that's part and parcel. And this is again, you hit to my soapbox territory. Part and parcel of the leftist ideology is denial of reality.
Well, the only follow-up question to that should have been, are you a woman? Well, yes. How do you know?
Yes, that would have been a great one. But again, part and parcel of leftism is a denial of reality. And the more basic the denial of reality, the longer they have to work at it and the greater the facade they have to put up. That's why leftists can't meme. That's why they can't create good memes, is because their memes are filled with blocks of text, because they have to define everything to give you the context. Otherwise, you won't know how to feel about it. And this is exactly the same sort of thing. It is a manipulation at the emotional level to say, well, I don't know, how could, everything's a woman. Everything and nothing is a woman. So, and Codex also notes, a woman is whatever Biden promised to nominate to the Supreme Court. That would have been the great follow-up question. Well, President Biden promised to nominate a woman. He seemed to know what one was. Are you a woman?
It's just Ted Cruz in a dress, man.
No, he'd be in Cancun. Oh my. Oh, let's see what other things we have around the world. Any other Supreme Court thoughts? I think my bet is she will be easily confirmed, and she will be as utterly awful because she appears to have all of the intellect of a box of bricks. Mark?
I concur. She shouldn't be anywhere near a court bench. So,
the missus?
She's going to get confirmed. The Democrats are in control. She didn't openly admit to worshiping Satan on the floor of Congress during her hearings, or, show up with someone, with a live person in the trunk of her car. But I still, I think she might have lost a few Democrat votes had she done that, but she didn't. So,
yeah. So, the one issue that's going to trip her up, if there is one, is going to be her record on being easy on pedophiles, because she thinks that we're treating them too harshly. Now, that may actually garner her more Democrat support, but there's a potential in there that she's going to lose at least one Democrat from a certain small state that everyone hates. But
yep. No, well. And predictions on final vote. My prediction on final vote is 60-40 confirmed. Mark?
You're probably right.
The missus?
I have no idea what the split is now, but I'm going to bet. I would bet somewhere between maybe like 10 Republicans vote to confirm.
Okay. So everyone remembers Mackenzie Scott, right?
Mackenzie Scott?
Her name used to be Mackenzie Bezos. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she has donated so far, since divorce, she's gone on a spending spree, $12 billion.
To what? To who?
I think the biggest one was Planned Parenthood. But they can't retroactively remove her husband, so that's I think that's
maybe that's what she was hoping for.
Yeah, but it really was.
We can't even call it a very late term abortion. I'm sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos, no matter what you say about the poor guy, is I won't say poor guy, but whatever you say about the guy is you can't say he went after a trophy wife, because if he went after a trophy wife, it was like 7th place. She's not an attractive woman.
Well, were they married before he did the whole Amazon thing?
Yes, they were. Yes, so she was. Yep.
But even the woman he was cheating with, though, was.
No, Mackenzie Scott was fun. She's much more attractive than the one he's dating now. Much more attractive.
Okay, I'm confused. I can't keep his girlfriend straight.
Yes. His wife was more attractive than his trophy thing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, maybe she had talents that don't show. Know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, yeah. She and Kamala Harris may have a lot in common. All right. People are cloning pets. That's good. That's not a sign of the impending apocalypse. Any other stories or of thought, Mark?
Oh, shoot. Let me think. I don't have anything popping off the top of my head right now. Sorry.
Okay.
I've been
And-
so focused on Ukraine recently. And then the other stories I had actually are more pertain to my church and social issues there, but that's sort of where I've been focusing. Well, I might as well just say, so I don't know how many of your listeners know, but I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, Mormons, as people call us. Anyway, and I saw a poll recently it was in an article that, the reporter was amazed that there was still 30% of the American population opposed to gay marriage. But then they broke it down by certain religions. And I have to say, I was shocked to see that my church, 42% of the people support gay marriage. And, that, anyway, that's just shocking to me. So now I'm like wondering, well, okay, at some point there's going to be a schism. How far out? Trying to get some ideas on how long we have, but
yeah, it gets to be pretty fundamental, and it looks like again, you've got a pretty good idea of who you guys need to kick out of Utah. Kind of the apocalypse, right? Oh, let's see. The missus, do you have more stories? Anything else?
Well,
you
I
want to
do,
bring
but
up?
that's because I've compiled them, so I've got them ready to go.
But do you have more? Because we're saving, of course, the last one. So that one's all yours. But
no, I don't think so. Again, it's the Russia-Ukraine thing. Just soaks up all the oxygen in the room. Oh, I did want to say this about you talking about Leslie Stahl sounding dumb as a box of rocks on the air. I have to kind of defend journalists because so I have been a journalist at a certain point in my life, and we are kind of all tend to be dumb as a box of rocks, but we pretend to be experts on every topic that we ever talk about. The problem is that if your stupid's going to come out, it's going to come out live on the air.
Yes.
Rule of thumb amongst media people, never, ever do math live on the air. Even if you're good at it, you'll screw it up and look like an idiot.
I can believe that, which is probably why Kevin Brown, I'm not going to try and pronounce her first name, and I did the same thing with Amy Coney Island Barnett. So
Amy Comey James Island Barnett.
Yeah. so yeah, maybe that's why she refused to answer on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
How religious she was. Well, let me.
But I will say this for her. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark, and then I'll.
Oh, I was going to say there is one more thing. I mean, that beyond just the Ukraine is I have seen a bunch more stories about that Chinese real estate development company Evergreen and that's slow collapse. So, and the latest one is that I don't remember the exact amount, somewhere between 1 and 2 billion, I think, of money that have been paid in by people that were going to be purchasing apartments from them, somehow wound up going to one of the banks that had financed not the projects that money was supposed to go to, but just other projects in general. So as it's collapsing, we're seeing everybody getting paid off that's important, and it'll be interesting to see what the blowback is on the street.
Well, and again, this is a Chinese company, and to the extent American companies had debt sold to this Chinese company, they're the ones that will get paid. The Chinese people will get paid. China's about China. I mean, that's it's just absolutely clear. China's about
It is,
China.
and it's the first one. I mean, there's other large development companies over there uh, that are probably going to fail. So,
Yep. No, I'm fully with you there. And the missus, did you have another one that you were going to say?
I had something I was going to say, but now I can't remember what it was, so it doesn't matter.
All right. All right.
I
Well,
was doing something else, and it just completely went away.
I will note this, that the mortgage rate has almost doubled since January. So good job, Brandon. And in moving back, why don't you bring us to take your segment, dear,
all right,
and explain why it's not Vice President Harris.
Right, because Kamala, I'm sorry, you can't keep the trophy every week. Someone else has to have it.
Win literally
she could
every
literally
week.
every week. Yeah, here we go. Maybe.
This is Neil Young.
Hey, get that jackass out of here!
And I'm proud to present my brain jackass of the week.
And this is not so much jackassy, but it is pretty funny. You may have missed this particular story, which is that apparently New Hampshire tried to secede, as in leave the Union, in the past couple of weeks. The Republicans did. They submitted an amendment to leave the Union. And we have a couple of guys talking about it. The first guy is, God, here's another guy whose name I'm not going to be able to pronounce. This music is so loud.
This is loud.
Because it's not in the normal place where I had it. I accidentally deleted it out of there. So here, let me just do this. It's very loud.
And
I
Her
feel
Majesty
very
the
regal.
Queen.
Yes, I feel like I must talk like Brian Blessed when I use that. Where did it go? This is why I need 2 monitors. I'm just saying.
It's still better than Pugsley.
Let's see. His name is Republican State Representative in New Hampshire, Matthew Santanastaso, something like that.
It's
very long.
It's spelled like that.
Staten Island Sammy Sosa. We'll say that's his last name.
Well,
So
no,
this is Matt-
it's pronounced McConaughey.
McConaughey, yeah. I like
Yes.
Staten Island Sammy Sosa. Anyway, he was the author of the amendment, and he had this to say.
This is not a fringe idea. Hashtag national divorce trends on the internet. There's a similar movement in California which will flourish again when Republicans take the U.S. Congress later this year.
So, yeah.
Take out the Congress.
Well, there's if you look at the polls
Freudian
right now,
slip.
if you look at the polls, the competitive districts, Biden is down 15 points. So is it very possible that we have an extremely Republican-controlled House and Senate?
I don't know. It depends on
Absolutely.
if he has a good bench and can sink some 3-pointers at the end of the game. We'll have
Or
to see. Sorry,
if
I got
they
into
have-
basketball for a minute.
Or if they get to count the votes. Remember,
Yes.
it's not important who votes. It's important who counts the votes.
But this is not the only clip I have regarding this. It was kind of split between the Republicans. Not everybody was on board with this. And the Republicans who were not on board were very vocal about it. This Republican state lawmaker, Michael Sylvia, had this to say.
That this amendment reinforces Article 7 of our Constitution, which declared New Hampshire to be forever a free, sovereign, and independent state.
So I think there's going to be some strife at the Republican Christmas party there in the State House this year.
Well, I think that's probably the case. I think but again, I think national divorce is trending because people are talking about it. People are saying, how come we here in red state America, why are we stuck with the people, the blue voters, and vice versa? And here's a note.
And
a codex notes, the national divorce of Ukraine is working so well.
Right. And that's the problem, right? Because if we don't find a way to mend things, that's coming in our future. Because what's the other way? What would be the other way around that? And I don't think anybody wants that. Actually, that's not true. The Democrats have been talking. You and I have talked about this a lot. That Democrats for the past 5 years have decided there are two wars that they really, really want to fight again. The World War II, which they're getting right now in the Ukraine, and the U.S. Civil War. They really want to refight those two wars because those were two wars where there was, let's say, a great degree of moral clarity in both of those. Would you disagree with me? You agree?
Would I disagree?
Okay, Supreme Court nominee, that long pause means no.
Can I define a woman? Yes, I can define a woman.
If you repeat the question and then there's a long pause, yeah. Oh, so by the way, you know that I've done like a lot of, just for some other stuff that I was doing in my life as a secret spy, but actually I've been looking into ways that you can tell the tells that people have when they're going to lie to you. Repeating the question is a huge tell that they're lying.
Are they giving themselves time to think about it?
Yes. Absolutely.
Mark, you've been pretty quiet on this one.
Yeah, I've been pretty quiet on this one. No. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was pretty funny, that little slip though, where he said he talked about taking out Congress instead of taking Congress. That is something probably, if the Ukraine thing doesn't suck all the oxygen out of the room forever, that's going to be coming up with the midterms. I am confident, as in like more than 50% sure that I think the Republicans will take seats in both houses. I don't know if they'll get enough for a majority in the House, but I'm hoping so, because I really, really want to see Biden have to go through his own impeachment hearings. So
there you go.
Yeah, but never underestimate the Republicans' ability to screw up a sure thing.
Yeah, but of course, this is talking about Joe, right? Remember what Obama said about Joe?
Yeah.
Never underestimate
Joe's ability to bleep things up.
Yep. So here's a tweet from someone I have no idea. I've never seen him before, but their name is Low Key, and I think this is actually the biggest thing that's happened in the last month that we haven't really talked about that much. But I think he sums it up wonderfully in a sentence. This is at Low Key Online, as in LOWKEY online. The decision to push almost 3 billion people, Russia, India, and China, into trading with each other in currencies other than the dollar will go down as one of the most short-sighted and self-destructive policies in U.S. history. So, there's that.
Yeah, and I've kind of had that feeling on that too, with this whole, let's just see how much we can brutalize Russia. That worked so well with Germany after the First World War, didn't it? Boy, they learned their lesson.
Yeah, the sanctions, we've again, the sanctions, every time people fill up the gas, they're filling the sanctions.
Yeah. Well, I know it's easy for me to sit here and Monday morning quarterback.
Well,
but you know what?
I mean,
I'm not the president. I don't have to make these decisions. So
sanctions have never worked before, so of course it's got to work this time.
Oh, and this is something that Codex mentioned a minute or two ago. I bet you could unite a divided people by promising to let America pelt Congress critters with rotten vegetables.
That would be awesome.
Both parties. Yep.
Yes.
And I think we should give Codex the very last thought on that one.
Alrighty.
All right.
I didn't realize that was my cue. I thought you had something else to do there. Because we went over the last time that we did this.
On that note.
Oh, no, we're not there yet. You have to keep filling. God, you have to learn to get a sense for this, right? Okay, now you can do it. Go.
Okay. All right. And we will be coming back next week with another edition of Bombs and Bants and Wednesday Rants. As always, I'm John.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the missus. See how that worked out? Y'all come back now, you hear?